and just cutting straight down. Uh-oh, it's not working. Look at that, the bowl's not big enough. And the Johnny cake is basically a griddle cornbread, and it is a southern staple, actually a Native American dish that was created for journeys. So the true name of it is a journey cake, but somehow that name morphed into a Johnny cake. Hi, I'm Dawn Burrell, and I'm Executive Chef Partner of Late August here in Houston, Texas. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe that I love, Johnny cake, or some people like to call it journey cake. For this recipe, you're going to need buttermilk, all-purpose flour, clarified butter or ghee, brown butter, cornmeal, brown sugar, eggs, salt, baking powder, thick slab bacon, sorghum, maple syrup is also a great substitution, cane vinegar, sambal or chili paste, heavy cream, shallots, thyme, and corn. To start, we're going to make the corn cream. We'll get started by cutting the corn. I like to cut the ends off of the corn because it makes it really easy to shuck. Shucking was a favorite pastime as a child. It was my parents' assignment, getting all the little hairs off and putting them straight into the bowl so that they don't get everywhere. And just give it a little scrub with your hands. In order to cut the corn neatly, I just use a two-bowl system. I start by just standing it up and just cutting it straight down. So ideally, it would just capture all the corn. I'm not losing too much, so I'm gonna just keep going. We have our corn cut off the cob and just simply remove the bowl. And next, I'm going to just slice the shallot for the cream reductions, and then thyme is my favorite herb. We're gonna go over to the stove and start our corn cream. The first thing I like to do is add the cream to the pot and then turn the fire to medium-high. Next, I'll add the corn, shallots, and thyme. Now I'm gonna season it with a little salt, and I'm gonna let this reduce down for like 10 to 15 minutes. It'll reduce by half. While the corn cream is working, I'm going to get the sorghum glaze started. So I'm gonna add the sorghum first, followed by the chili paste. Next, the cane vinegar, and just some thyme to finish it off. Give that a stir. I'm gonna turn it on to medium heat. This sorghum syrup will reduce down for about 20 minutes or until it's a syrupy consistency. While our sorghum glaze and our corn cream are both working, we're gonna get started with our Johnny cakes. I want to start by cracking 4 eggs into a bowl and whisking them up well to make sure that they are combined. It is really important to get the eggs nice and whisked. You want the egg to do its job, which is giving body and life to the Johnny cake. Next, I'm going to add the brown butter. I like to get all the brown bits because that's where the flavor is. Next, brown sugar. I'm gonna whisk all these ingredients together. And last of the wet ingredients will be the buttermilk. I like to use whole buttermilk, but low-fat buttermilk is appropriate. You can use that. That's more easy to find. Now I'm gonna add the cornmeal. Now, the reason why I add cornmeal first is because there's no gluten in cornmeal. We can whisk it as vigorously as we want without changing the texture of the Johnny cake itself. Baking powder next, followed by salt. The goal is just to get everything incorporated well, and then we can add the flour. And this is where you want to be gentle. So after the flour goes in, then we'll just fold it gently with a spatula to get the flour incorporated. And now it's okay to have lumps. They will dissolve as you let the batter sit, but I like to do this part gently. I'm gonna sit this aside, and we're going to check on our cream, and if it's ready, then we'll blend it. All right, the corn cream is ready, so we're just gonna blend it down into a smooth, creamy consistency. It'll be kind of thick like butter. I like to start the blender on low. I'm gonna slowly increase the speed to make sure that I can smooth out this sauce. I'm just gonna let it run for about a minute or 2. All right, let's give it a taste. Very nice. The sweetness of the corn is what I'm really after right now because it will mimic the flavors of the Johnny cake. So they will go perfectly together. Just gonna pour this corn cream in here. I'm gonna season the sauce with a little salt, and then I'm gonna put it back into a clean pan and just hold it warm for us on the stove. Now let's get started with our bacon. Now I love a super thick cut bacon. You can buy it this way at your local market. Get a few of them here. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space in between, so I think maybe one more will do. And I'm gonna use a bacon press to hold them down It's nice to have a bacon press because it allows you to make bacon that's kind of flat and that cooks evenly without the bubbles that happen when you're cooking bacon. This weight really comes in handy for that. All right, so now we're going to make our Johnny cakes. I'm using a griddle. You don't have to use a griddle. I just find it convenient to do so because the cooking surface is really wide. And we're going to start by just putting down a little bit of the clarified butter. And now I'm just going to use this spoon to drop the Johnny cakes down in as round of a form as I possibly can. You want to cook them kind of like a pancake. Medium heat is perfect for Johnny cakes because you kind of want to give the batter time to cook in the center and also time for it to gently caramelize on the outside before flipping it. But you can see how they're rising beautifully, nice and puffy. That means they're super light in the center. All right, these Johnny cakes are done. They look really good, super crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. The Johnny cakes are done, so now we're gonna finish our bacon. And now I'm just going to spoon a little bit of this glaze on top of the bacon. And I'm just gonna pour like a couple tablespoons in the pan itself. I'm just gonna toss the bacon around in it to get it nice and glazed up. Beautiful. And that's it. All right, it's time to build our plate. Now, I'm gonna start by picking 3 Johnny cakes. I'm just gonna place them like in the center of the plate. And then I'm gonna choose 3 really nice pieces of bacon and just kind of shingle them in. Now, I'm going to take this beautiful cream and I think I'm just gonna put it on one side and a little pull. I'm gonna finish the plate with a little bit of sorghum glaze. So that's Johnny cakes. All right, now let's try this. I am super excited. Take a little bit of Johnny cake, get some syrup, other things. A bacon. This is so delicious. The corn cream is mimicking the flavor profile of the Johnny cake, and so it's super corny. And the bacon is so delicious, crispy on the outside, has a little bit of sweetness from the sorghum syrup. Like, it's the perfect dish, the perfect breakfast, or brunch even. I can't wait for you to try this. You're gonna be proud of it. Thank you so much for joining me on this Johnny cake journey. I am Chef Dawn Burrell from Houston, Texas, and I'll see you next time.